Okay, so starting the work in the backend, we're going to learn the basics of Express. Express is a Node.js framework, and in this section, we'll see how to configure routes, how to use URL parameters and URL queries, as well as an HTML templating library called EJS. After that, we're going to be creating this project called Just Me. Just Me is I'll call this a dummy blog because it seems like it's a blog and it is a blog template, but all the data for the blog is actually hard coded. So for example, if we're here and so these are all blog articles, and the layout is pretty unique in that the way that these are laid out are always different. So we'll also see how we can handle that in EJS in this section as well. But one of the things that I just want to show you here is that if we click on an article, we see some text and we see the article right here. But if we go back and click on a different article, we see different text. So that's one of the things here is that each article is different and it's being generated dynamically for each page. So if we look up here, we see that this is article 844. And if we just put 845 here, we'll just get to the next article. And if we do 846, we get to the next one. Great. Another thing I want to show you that's also pretty interesting about this project is that we'll have comments which are also hard-coded. So there's no actual real people that commented, they're just fake. But one of the things here is that these are actually nested comments. So this is a comment on this comment, and this comment is a comment on this, and this comment here is on this one. So it could get a little bit messy to try to figure out what is what, but we'll see how we could do this during this project. So that's pretty cool. Last thing I'll show you is that if you go to a page to a blog that doesn't exist, we just get this nice 404 page. Great. Also, if we look here on this side here, we're basically filtering. See, we got a filter up here. So we're filtering by category of fun. So we're only seeing articles that have the category of fun. So if we click on one of them right here, so we could filter by here, but also on the side we got categories, which is basically the same thing right here. It really is the same thing, although here it shows us how many articles that you expect to see. So if we click fashion, there'll be 2. And then down here we got a tag cloud. So these are all the different tags that each project has, that each article has, I should say. So at the bottom, you can see each article has an amount of tags. So if we click on it, and these are recent articles, so if we go here, we see the tags right here. That's great. And then if we click on one of these tags, we'll get a filter page, but instead of filtering by category, we are now filtering by tags. Okay, so that's all I'm going to show you for this project. After that, we move to learning about databases, specifically MongoDB. MongoDB is a non-SQL database that is perfect for Express, as the documents that you store inside the database is very similar to what a JavaScript object looks like, which is something that by this point we'll be very used to using. In this section, we'll also learn how to push our sites to the internet, making them accessible to anyone with an internet connection. We'll use Heroku to do this. Heroku provides free web hosting, and it also provides an add-on that will allow us to use an external database for our websites when they're hosted live. And then in the next section, we'll learn how to structure RESTful APIs. So a RESTful API is just, it's kind of like a framework for how to structure your API routes. And we're going to be doing this in Express. And we're also going to be, in this section, creating a public countries API that can be called by anyone at any time. After this, we're actually going to go back to the front end and learn a front end framework for single page applications called Angular. Now, it would theoretically make sense to teach this front end framework in the front end section of the course, but the reason I didn't do that is because Angular has a pretty steep learning curve. It could take a long time to get used to using Angular, and also the language that you'll be using when you write Angular code is actually TypeScript. So TypeScript is similar to what Sass is to CSS. It's like a superset of JavaScript, meaning that everything that we learn in JavaScript is also going to be valid TypeScript, but TypeScript sort of extends the capabilities of JavaScript, and that's basically how Angular works. Angular is built using TypeScript. So because of that, I thought it would make sense to teach Angular more towards the end of the course. Also, the final project that we build after that section is actually going to take 4 sections to build. It is going to be a massive project. It's going to be a mock social media website with loads of functionality, including registering, logging in, creating posts, searching for and adding friends, sending messages, and much more. So this one project spans 4 separate sections to separate the different parts of the project into distinct sections. So the first section is for authentication. It includes registering, logging in, and managing user sessions using JSON web tokens. The next section, we're going to basically be adding the searching for and adding friends functions. After that, we're going to have a section where all we worry about is creating posts. This includes liking posts and commenting on posts. And also in this section, we're going to be creating dynamic profile pages. And then in the final section of the project, we are going to be having the messaging feature, the relationships feature, which only includes having besties and enemies. So we're going to see that in a second. And also user alerts, so they can be notified when somebody comments on their post or when somebody accepts their friend request, etc. Also, at the end of this section, we are going to be pushing the project to the internet. Okay, that's it. That's going to be it for this one.